It's a gorgeous Sunday here in Southern California for the final round of the DIO Implant LA Open. We're at Palos Verdes Golf Club in Palos Verdes Estates, about half an hour south of Hollywood. And we have quite the script being written this weekend by the 20-year-old from China, Roning Yin. Grant Boone, Judy Rankin watching the second-year LPGA player who began the day with a two-shot lead. Judy fell behind, and with 3 straight birdies, she has moved back to the top of the leaderboard.
She's a player that you just know there is some competitive fire in there. She's got quite a pleasant personality, and it really shows through.
And in good position at the par 4 ninth. Groups of 3 on this Sunday. Judy and I are joined by Tom Abbott calling the odd-numbered holes. Angela Stanford and Kay Cockrell are out on the course. And Tom, this should be a thrilling Sunday.
Yes, a number of players who have a chance to win, and Kay Cockrell is out watching this final group for us.
I am. I love this hole. It's a dogleg left to right. You have to try to get it past that pine tree that's in the middle of the fairway, 250 yards out.
Looking concerned down the right side. Is it going to be okay? It can be blocked out, as Kay was saying. And we'll go to the 11th, it's a par 3. They've moved the tee forward today, making it a little bit easier. Carlota Saganda has been dialed in from this distance today. Angela, this one for a birdie.
Yeah, she hit a perfect tee shot right where she needed to put it. The middle of the screen, now has an uphill putt that's going to slide a little left or right.
She made another one.
Wow.
So Carlota Saganda 7 under for the day through 11 holes when that one's tapped in, and a chance to win. Going to try and set the target in the clubhouse. She teed off about 45 minutes ahead of the final group. And we'll go back to that final group. And Hyo-Joo Kim on the tee at the 9th.
Not a lot of fireworks out of Hyo-Joo yet, but just good, steady golf.
All right, so the final group at the 9th. It has been already a wild Sunday with a volatile top of the leaderboard, but the 20-year-old from China, Roning Yin, has moved back in front. Some major champions giving chase. It's going to be fun. The final round of the DIO Implant LA Open. We present the season-long race to the CME Globe. From Palos Verdes Estates, California, it's live final round coverage of the DIO Implant LA Open. Overlooking Santa Monica Bay, this gorgeous golf course carved out of the California hills, Palos Verdes Golf Club, opened nearly 100 years ago. A William Bell, George Thomas design. They built some other beauties like Riviera and Bel Air, to name a couple. Big, severe elevation changes, cozy, undulating greens, and they're all playing for this trophy, the DIO Implant LA Open, in its 5th play. Some of the action from earlier, Judy. This was Hyo-Joo Kim, began the day 2 back of Roning Yin. Here's her second at 2.
There are any number of difficult par 4s on this course, but this is often the most difficult.
She made it look easy, roll that in for birdie to get to 13 under. Carlota Saganda was 12 shots back going into the weekend, and now here she is contending. This is at the uphill 8th.
What's that old thing? There's everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Yeah, she is an unbelievable player, only has a couple of wins to her credit. She would roll that in for birdie. Georgia Hall, 3rd at the 7th. Judy, she lost a playoff last week in Phoenix.
Clearly clicking on all cylinders.
That would take her to 13 under. We just saw the near make for Saganda at 11. This is what she did the hole before to get within 1.
Long putt outside of 30 feet.
It's been 6.5 years since her last LPGA title. So here is Roning Yin. Bogeyed 3, 4, and 5. At birdies at 6 and 7. Could she do it again? She could. Add the 8th. In her second season on the LPGA Tour, young Roning Yin trying to become the second player ever from China to win on the LPGA Tour. And that's how the leaderboard looks, with Hyoju Kim, a major champ, one back. Georgia Hall, a major champ. Atthaya Titicaca, 4th in the world. Nelly Korda, Patty Tavatanaka have won major championships. There's an 8 under par from a rookie, Manami Katsu of Japan. I like what you said. Nothing to lose. Let it go if you're back in the pack. And now Saganda, I wonder about the mindset now that she knows she is right in the middle of it. That'll be something to watch. Tom, the 9th again.
Yeah, we talked about that tree that creeps into the fairway there on the right side. And Kay will update us. And it looks like all 3 players have managed to avoid any tree trouble today, Kay.
They have. That nice little pine tree is rather annoying when you hit the fairway and end up being stymied behind it, but all 3 in good positions. Hyoju with 9-iron in hand. Wind mostly right to left, might be helping a smidge. Shot plays almost a half a club uphill.
Hates it.
Don't you wish you could miss it like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously further away from the flag than she would have liked from 132, but it's just going to mean the putter needs to work a bit more, but really unhappy with the shot. We'll keep an eye on that as this final day comes to a close. Now Yin with her second.
From the more towards the left-hand side of this fairway, a little more of an awkward angle, having to go over the front left bunker. Also with 9-iron, aggressive swing.
Go, she's saying, and it does go. Enough to carry the bunker and give her a birdie try. And now Georgia Hall, who lost in the playoff last week to Celine Boutier, is confident with her game, Kay.
Well, she is, particularly after shooting a 62, which was her lowest score as a professional. And the course record out here, a phenomenal round yesterday that got her right into the mix. Going at the flag stick with a wedge.
She was asking it to fly. It is going to be the best of the 3, but we have seen some fireworks already today at the 9th. And this was Hye-Yeon Ryu a little earlier, trying to make a comeback after a mistake, double bogey at the 5th hole. And this is how you make a comeback. You hole it out for a 2 at the 9th. We saw Ryu last week in contention at the drive on. She's a player to watch this year on the LPGA Tour. A nice moment to remember from the final round here at Palos Verdes Golf Club. But while we have a moment, let's head up to the booth with Judy and Grant.
Tom, thank you. Still too close to call with 9 holes to go, but what a story we could be seeing here with the 20-year-old from China, Roning Yin. A 2-shot lead when the round began. She fell back, and now she's taken it back, Judy. And she told her coach Holton Freeman last night, she sent him a text and said, "I'm ready, bro." And then he said, she sent him a text this morning and said, "I'm nervous." And when you heard that, you said what?
You can be both, and most often you are both. When you tee off in a final round and you have the lead or you're right in the middle of contention. All players would tell you, even very experienced players, that there's something wrong with you if you're not a little bit nervous. But also, you have put yourself in this position with very good golf, so you should be also a little bit confident. And as I said, you can be both, and in most cases you should be both.
Well, she had a really nice comeback after a couple of 3 putts in the middle of a round yesterday and took that 2-shot lead. But as you look at these last 9 holes, the back 9 has played tougher.
Yeah.
And this is too close to call, isn't it?
Well, it is, and there are places on this golf course where it's not that hard to make a double bogey.
Yeah.
There is some very significant rough in patches, but there is some rough outside of the rough that is the kind of rough that's really difficult to play from. Some of it is to the right of the 13th hole, the par 3. So there are places and a couple of hazards where you can make a big number on this golf course, but you can also make a lot of birdies. And I think it's a beautiful day on a beautiful golf course, and you might see a lot of birdies. That's what I predict.
And that's about all we can predict.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, it should be a lot of fun here as we watch the final group at the 9th.
This is Hyo-Joo Kim from long range here at the par 4.
Tom, I was sort of joking when I said, wouldn't you like to miss it like that? But a player of her caliber with a 9-iron in her hand was expecting to get this at least within 25 feet. Now facing closer to a 50-footer, and is going to have to grind to two-putt this.
She's going to have to work.
Let's go up to the 10th.
Here is the native of Quebec, Modemi LeBlanc. Judy Sheet had effectively given the game up, discovered something with her putting stroke, and made it back to the tour via the Epson, and having a good week.
This is Nelly Corder on the tee at the 11th. Nelly just coming off a bogey at 10. Made a good start today with 3 birdies in the first 7 holes to creep herself towards contention. But it's going to take a big back 9 from Nelly to get it done here. Back over to the 9th, and the leader Yin for birdie.
A birdie here yesterday really settled her down and freed her up to shoot a beautiful second 9. Oh, my goodness.
What a way to finish the front 9 for Roning Yin. And if those players behind her with a lot of experience are looking up at that leaderboard, they're going to know the job is getting even more difficult.
You know, one of the things that will relax you when you're really nervous on the golf course is sometimes when you make a bogey or two. It kind of calms everything down and puts you back with a job at hand.
Yeah, certainly a bit of a roller coaster front 9 for Roning Yin, but she has recovered well after that wobble 3, 4, and 5 with those bogeys. 4 straight birdies to end the front 9. Now Georgia Hall.
Yeah, Georgia's got to click herself into another gear. She's played quite well. 3 birdies, no bogeys, but she's going to have to keep pace.
Yeah, nice putt. Not a particularly great read.
Well, yesterday she was 7 under through 9 holes at this point and was just riding a huge high, a huge momentum wave. But not quite the same thing today.
Yeah, she played a 3-hole stretch and 5 under par yesterday. 2 eagles and a birdie.
Yeah, she wrote 3-2-3 down on her scorecard.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen too often.
Now this one certainly is going to take some thinking for Hyo-Joo.
Every foot you get further away from the hole, the percentage make goes down. This is a healthy 6-footer.
Oh, just enough of the hole there. So the 5-time winner on the LPGA Tour and 14-time winner on the KLPGA Tour is still in the hunt here. But they are chasing the youngster from Shanghai who leads the way by 2.
Well, she took the scenic route, but a 2-shot lead when the round began, and a 2-shot lead as Roning Yin makes the turn at the 10th.
She tees off here at this difficult 10th that begins a stretch of 4 holes that are quite tough, and a back 9 that is much harder than the front.
This is Nelly Corder for a birdie. It's been a good season for Nelly so far. She's put in some good results. I know there hasn't been a victory yet, but she's been playing well, and that one is about as good as it gets with dead weight putting. Can be quick downhill on some of these greens. So a good bounce back after the drop shot at 10.
And back on the 10th tee, Georgia Hall.
She's shown a lot of patience so far, and she needs to keep staying patient and know she's a tournament winner and anything can happen on this back 9.
Boy, watch her golf swing on this back 9 and you'll see why she's played so well these last couple of weeks.
Over at the 12th, Carlota Saganda.
Yeah, that was an 8-iron. She had a really good lie in the rough, and it's just a tough shot from the ball below your feet over there.
Back at the 10th, Hyo-Joo Kim.
Yeah, good low trajectory drive right down the middle.
So playing with a couple of major champions in Georgia Hall and Hyo-Joo Kim. It's young Roning Yen back on top by 2 with 4 straight birdies, looking for her first career LPGA victory. At the 12th for par, Carlota Saganda.
Yeah, she has about 20 feet, a little uphill.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, with Roning Yin rolling them in from all over Southern California, you can't give up too many, can you? Taya Titikun at the 10th. She won not too far from here, just down the road in Carlsbad, California, a year and a week ago. As a 19-year-old, went on to win Rookie of the Year. This comeback from Roning Yin, Judy, it's changed the top of the leaderboard rather dramatically. Now the tournament seems to be, at least on some level, in her hands.
Yeah, I think once you're on the back 9 and you have a 2-shot lead, I don't know, you're not comfortable yet, but certainly you are in a position to control your own destiny.
She has maybe eliminated a couple of players who would have otherwise been up there. This is Patty Tavatanakit, went to UCLA from Thailand, of course. 2 years ago this week, Angela, she won the Chevron Championship, going away, one of the dominating major championship performances of recent years.
She did not hit a good drive. She had a terrible lie in the left rough, had to kind of lay it up. She had 85 yards for her 3rd shot and hit a beautiful shot in here. Now looking at this par putt, we'll move a little right to left. That was a great save.
You know, the point is this golf course has produced a lot of low scores, but there's no doubt it makes you hit good shots because recovery's tough.
You can go behind the scenes with LPGA players Leona Maguire and Mina Haragai as we shine a light on their activities on and off the course. It's Drive On LPGA All Access on the LPGA social channels beginning April the 11th. It's a 2-shot lead for Roning Yin. She's missed the fairway at the 10th. And that's where we are now. Kay Cockrell following along.
She has driven it in the right rough. It looks like she's looking over to see if Hyo-Joo Kim is going, but she is away. She's driven it in the right rough, ball a little below her feet. The lie is decent, but the problem is some be branches off the eucalyptus, 2 eucalyptus trees that are in front of her to the right. The good thing is she has a natural cut shot, and that's what she's going to have to hit here. Aim more to the center of the green and let it try to cut, which is hard to do out of the rough. Just, oh no, she got too greedy. That knocked straight down and back further right into the rough. Now she's in trouble. Now a bogey is going to be a challenge.
You know, it wouldn't have been the worst thing to play at the open part of the green. Take the tree out of the picture.
Exactly. She had the whole width of the green to play with and a clear opening to that part.
Was it a mishit as well? In addition to the aim that could have been further left?
It must have been a mishit.
There is the possibility of a 20-year-old trying to be heroic.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you don't really need to be.
Right.
Now, this hole caused problems for both Hyoju and Ronan yesterday. They both bogeyed it. It's a tough hole, and it plays extra long uphill into the wind. That a 7-iron. Yeah, kind of overplayed the safety factor on that shot.
Yeah. That pull always goes just a little bit farther.
Just 3 birdies at this 10th today, second toughest hole in this final round.
Well, Georgia hit it further down, and she's down the right-hand side, has a really flat lie. See if she can strike this solidly and get it up there. No, back into the bunker. They all misjudged their seconds.
Ronan Yin leads by 2. She's made only 1 par all day. She's in trouble here at the 10th. The leader, Ronan Yin, out of position at the 10th. This was her 3rd.
Really fortunate to have a clear shot to the green, just inside 100 yards.
Did what she had to do, I guess. And now the 3rd for Georgia.
Good clean line, the bunker, but a deep bunker. A lot of these bunkers, Judy, are deep and difficult to hit out of.
Yeah, in so many cases, you're forced to get the ball up really quickly.
13.
Looking down to that green, Carlota Saganda on the tee.
.190 yards today. That's the shortest yardage of the week.
And that one just short of the green. They moved the tee forward at the weekend, playing over 200 yards the first couple of days.
At the 12th, 3rd for Nelly Korda.
Good shot.
She might creep a little closer depending on what Ronan Yin does. At the 10th, Roning's got a long putt for par. It's been chilly this week. Warmed up a bit yesterday. Kay, how does it feel out there today as Hyoju Kim takes off the jacket?
It was warmer in the morning, but once the noon hour hits, the wind picks up stronger off the coast, and it's a cold wind. And when you're up on the top of these bluffs and that wind is howling, it is a chilly wind. And a lot of the players are using an extra layer to wear in between shots.
One of the best putters in the world, Hyoju Kim.
She's got her work cut out for her on this. And Ronan is going to pay attention to this as her par putt is on a similar line. I think with there's a little hump that Hyoju has to deal with halfway to the hole. It's going to be very difficult to get the speed right on this putt.
Yeah, I think we can see that where there's a little change in the grass color.
Someone of her ability probably won't be thrilled with that, would you, Judy?
No, not necessarily a great putt.
11.
Last year's Louise Suggs Rolex Rookie of the Year, Taya Titakun. And just wanting that one to get a little hop forward. Middle of the green is safe here, though, as we go back to the final group at the 10th.
Well, I think, Kay, you might say take your 2 putts and move on, but the way she's putted all week, and especially today and of late, I'm not going to rule this one out until it doesn't go in.
I wouldn't put it past her, but based on what we just saw from one of the best putters who was fooled, this is a difficult putt. If she gets this a little too far to the right, that little hump will move it to the right. Too far to the left, and it swings left. So I'd say if I were her, I'd be delighted to end up with a little tap in for bogey 5. That scared the hole, but it flew by a good 6+ feet.
That'll be for bogey. 13.
Saganda for the birdie.
It's about 35 feet. You know, she's struggled on this hole this week. She's 2 over in the previous 3 rounds. So, you know, it seems like there's something sometimes mentally with holes out here, and looks like she had the pace right there.
Not the first player has a struggle here. It's a tough hole when you look at the stats. Second hardest hole of the week, that par 3 13th. And we'll go back over to 10.
And the par putt for Georgia Hall. And Kay, you were out there last week. It's hard to overstate the difference in golf course conditions, everything. And yet here Georgia Hall is contending again.
Yeah, you have to tip your hat to her. Shot a 65 last week on Sunday to make her way into a playoff, which she eventually lost. But she is playing some really good golf right now at the start, since the start of this year, really. Oh, big save.
Yeah, big putt for par for the 2 players that she's playing with to see. And this is playing today, the second hardest hole on the golf course. So no surprise that it hasn't come easy for anybody.
Judy, our group waited in the fairway for probably a good 5+ minutes while the group ahead took what seemingly felt like forever to finish the hole. But now that we're up here looking at this hole location, looking at the severity of this green, you can understand why. Even if you have a 2-footer, it's a grind. I think a big key to playing this course well, particularly on tough holes, is to not get greedy and go for these hole locations, but rather play to the center of green and play for par.
In Roning's case, with her second shot, it's hard for us to say whether that was poor course management or a bit of a mishit. But whatever it was, it didn't give her a great shot at making 4.
For bogey. I know it's for bogey, Judy, but
yeah, being a good 5, 6, 4-foot putter in this game really matters.
well, she was 17 years old when she turned pro on her home tour, the China LPGA Tour. And how did that start begin? With 3 straight victories. The first of those, are you ready for this? The Hollywood Mansion Challenge in Zhuhai, China. And now 30 miles from the original Hollywood Mansion, here she is trying to win. Now the par putt.
I was going to be funny, but I thought better of it.
No laughing matter here for Hyo-Ju for par. This is a player who's never finished outside the top 10 in putts per round or outside the top 20 in putts per green in regulation in her 8 years on tour. But a costly, technically 2-putt, but she's going to think it's a 3-putt, won't she?
Back over at the 13th, Saganda to save par. No, no, no. That is going to be so costly. Back-to-back bogeys at 12 and 13. And she got to within 1 of the lead today, having started the day 8 shots back. We're back on the 11th hole here in the final round of the DIO Implant LA Open, and this is a tie Titican for birdie.
We've seen this putt time after time. It tries to sneak to the right.
Just had too much pace, didn't it, Judy?
Yeah, it sure did.
We'll go to the 13th. Nelly Corda plays about 25 yards less the yardage here because of the severe downhill slope. And then you've got to factor in the breeze as well, which is going to be stronger up there at the tee than it is on the green. Now back over to the 11th and Titican for par. Good save in the end. Well, she's still got a chance. We know she's got some firepower. Looks pretty relaxed out there. Let's go to the tee at the 14th.
And Patty Tavatanikit.
You know, the players have to love this hole. Oh, wow. She sent that up the left side. She's going to get away with it. As Kay said, this fairway is like a funnel.
I mean, that's just a few feet away from maybe being in a penalty area. Instead, she's in the middle of the fairway. Well, it's time for Saganda to right the ship here. And we're going to look at her tee shot with our top tracer technology presented by Progressive Insurance.
You know, Grant, to finish that thought, I think players love getting to this tee box because you've just played some really difficult holes. Now you're looking at a par 5 downwind. Some of the longer hitters can get there in 2. See if Saganda gets a good one.
It's a big hitting group, Judy.
It is a big hitting group for sure. And Carlota might be the shortest of the 3.
Jessica Korda in there with Carlota and Patty T. 11.
So I mentioned they changed the tee box at 11. That's the tee you can see just disappearing out of your screen there on the left. They played in the earlier rounds, and now they've moved it down. So it changes the angle slightly here, playing a little from the right side here, Kay.
And you're also below the green level now, so you're hitting uphill. Plays 5 yards longer, plus into the wind, and Georgia has lost this right.
Bunker bound.
Couple of less than stellar iron shots.
Georgia Hall will be front and center for the European team trying to win the Solheim Cup for the 3rd straight cup. They've never done it, and they'll try it on home soil. Andalucía, Spain, September 22nd to the 24th. Your friend Julie Inkster is going to join you in the booth there in Spain.
Yeah, we're hoping for a really good time, great competition, and maybe 2 former captains can share something that's worthwhile.
Some decent scenery, I would imagine.
That's right.
Turning in on the tee at 11.
Going with the 6-iron. Really looking to land this probably 157 to 160. You want to keep it a little short of the hole. She's pulled it a tad. A lot of green left of the flag.
Yeah.
It's really easy from that lower tee to hit the shot that Georgia Hall hit, which is you're trying to make sure you've gone from playing almost a downhill hole to now playing an uphill hole. And there is a tendency sometimes in trying to hit the ball up that you kind of fan the face open and you never get it completely released.
I don't know if there's enough wind up there to hit. I mean, fives, even if you hit 5 soft, let's just say you hit a 55 shot with 5, it's going to carry, and now that's going to carry probably 48. Wow, that's still 6 short. It feels like the 6. It might still come up a little bit short, but as long as it doesn't get up, like, you're not going to get much wind until it gets up there by the green. So. What do you think? You good with that? Okay, all right.
The important thing is to step into the shot with conviction. And the 6-iron, I think, will be just fine as long as she flights it down just a little bit. Oh boy, she flighted it down but pulled it, much like the last iron. Not as consistent as she was yesterday.
It's a tough hole. She's made a couple of birdies here so far this week, but has some work to do. Roning Yin leads by 2, but it's closer than it could have been here.
Par 5 14th, the second shot for Carlota Saganda.
She has 260 yards with the uphill downwind.
The leg kick.
It's not a bad look at getting a third shot close.
50% from the bunker so far this week, Georgia Hall. Ooh, that'll get a little better after that one. It's a good shot there, wasn't it, Kay?
It was brilliant. She took advantage of a really level, clean lie.
Hyoju's going to be coming from the bunker on the other side. Kay, what shot does she face?
It's a much harder shot in that she has a lot of green to work with, but the green at the back here is tilted from back to front. And so she's going to have to play a little bit of left to right break unless she gets a ton of spin on it and flies it more aggressively closer to the hole. She has a good lie, nice level lie, and the lip is no concern.
She was pretty good last year in the sand save percentage inside the top 25 on tour, and has given herself a chance to save par there. Remain 2 back unless Roning Yin can do something special.
I think that good sand save percentage, Tom, ties in the fact Hyoju's also really good at scrambling in general.
At the 12th, the tie at Titicun. Looked like it settled down a bit, didn't it? Into the rough.
Over at the 11th, it's pretty remarkable, Kay, that Roning Yin's only had 1 par so far today.
You have some kind of days like that, don't you? As long as birdies outweigh the bogeys. Uphill, left to right breaking putt. Oh, she didn't judge the steepness at the back part of that green well at all.
What does she have left there, Kay? It's tough to tell the exact distance from our angle.
I'd say 6 feet, almost 6 feet.
Yeah, there's a better look. Three par threes on the back nine. In fact, there aren't two consecutive parred holes on this back nine. Nelly trying to chip it in. She's a very good chipper of the golf ball. Takes that wedge from just off the putting surface.
I was thinking the same thing, Tom, and I've seen her hole it numerous times. And the really good chippers rarely take the putter in that case.
So much confidence around the greens with the wedges. Back over to Roning In, who's trying to add just her second par of the day, and we're at the 11th hole.
That seems funny to say, doesn't it, Tom?
Well, it is when you're out there in front, you know, in a situation like this where you're probably looking for consistency and some birdies. She's made 4 bogeys, 5 birdies today. It's been a roller coaster, but she seems to be pretty fearless.
Number one thing with this putt is keep up the speed. It still continues to be steep uphill and will be sliding right.
Right in the middle.
Well, she's a good putter from that distance.
How is she still up by 2? I mean, these last few minutes.
It's not just a hard course for the leader. It's a hard course for everybody.
Yeah, when you look at the stats, the top 3 putters of the week so far are the top 3 players on the leaderboard. And I think that says a lot about these greens here, Kay.
Yeah, and what Hyoju was leading that way was 77 putts through the first 3 rounds. Incredible. I mean, obviously she's not hitting all the greens, but making a lot of par putts.
Yeah, that was a good one. And we'll go down the hill to the 14th.
And Roning In not budging. The pressure is on Carlota Saganda to make some birdies here. Third shot, par 5.
She had a nice fluffy lie. Great opportunity here, but downwind, oh.
Maybe a waste of an opportunity.
And she's running out of time here on this championship Sunday in Southern California. Carlota Saganda for birdie at 14.
This is not the putt she wanted after the 2 shots she hit. She had a chance right by the green, and it's not the result she wanted here.
20 top 5 finishes for Carlota since her last victory at the end of 2016.
Yeah, the tale of her winning and not winning takes a little time to tell.
To 12, and on the tee, Georgia Hall.
An ideal place at 12 would be if you could keep the ball in the fairway, but hug the right side.
Judy, that's a hard proposition, though, because the more you edge to the right side, the more steep the left to right tilt is, and there's actually a drop off where the rough begins. And so I think players immediately just want to kind of hug more of the left side. But it makes the hole longer.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that, and I understand why. But the easier shot to play to this green would be from the far right side of the fairway.
That's in the first cut. Ty Titikin was over there, and she struggled. At 14, Patty Tavatanakit to get to 10 under.
She had 77 yards. Thought the ball would spin more, but left herself. Wow. Great downhill putt make there.
trying to come back from a real crisis in confidence last year. Hyo-Joo Kim at 12.
Oh, this heading right. And we'll have to see what kind of lie she ends up over there.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get lucky with the lie.
Well, Hyo-Joo Kim is currently in line to be part of the Korean team at the Hanwha Life Plus International Crown. It's back after 5 years away. 8 countries have already qualified. This is the last day to become one of the 4 to make one of those 8 country teams. TPC Harding Park in San Francisco, May 4th through the 7th. Can't wait. Right at the 12th. Par putt for Ataya Titikun. And we talked about it all week. This is a tough stretch of the golf course, and Ataya is going to drop at least 1. The Japanese rookie Minami Katsu has the low round of the day, a 63. Roning Yin. It has been a roller coaster Sunday for the 20-year-old.
This is the tee at the 15th, and Carlota Saganda with the driver.
This is a player who I have to say, I mean it in the kindest way, but she has not been a closer in this game, and it has really hurt her because she's had so many opportunities.
At the 12th, with that whole location shrouded in shadows, I think Hyo-Joo Kim's going to go first, isn't she, Kate?
She is, from the right-hand rough, and it's paid off really well. She's drawn a great lie. Able to hit a 6-iron in and an excellent angle, Judy. If it's enough to get up there.
Boy, and it is not. There have been so many misjudgments with a little bit of wind that's back into them, I guess, Kay?
It's all the wind. It's the strength of the wind, and it's also the coolness of the air. But I think players are guarding about to go long. You don't want to go long on these little greens, so you want to be somewhere in the center or short of center.
Yeah, this one's just 23 paces deep.
And probably barely that in width. This ball is a bit of a hanging lie, meaning the ball's below her feet, so she's got to really stay with it. Last couple misses have been to the right, and this as well.
Yeah, she swung hard left, and it had to be almost like a wipe in the impact area.
Could have been worse, though, couldn't it? That where it wound up.
Her bunker play's been pretty spectacular, so we'll see.
As we watch Roning Yin, take a look at these insights by KPMG. Since the beginning of September last year, #1 in strokes gained tee to green.
Well, she's got to draw it, and not able to do so. That those tall eucalyptus really guard the left side of this green.
It could be, in all fairness, that they should widen this fairway a little bit to the right, because if it's requiring a draw with the ball so far below your feet, they're asking for a lot.
Well, here is the LPGA rookie Lucy Lee, third shot at the par 5 14th. Great day yesterday, and a great shot here.
It's going to be a fun season having Lucy Lee part of the cast of characters.
Just 20 years old.
This is the look from behind the 15th, and Carlota Saganda is back there. How much uphill is this playing today with the wind, Angela?
Her number is 104. With the uphill, it's 114. I think if anybody can get this close, Carlota can. There's a little slope behind this whole location. The way she curves the ball, a little left to right, kind of back into the breeze. She has an uphill lie, so she's going to take this right at the flag, I believe.
And she is capable of really spinning the golf ball.
Yes, and I wonder if she's thinking about carrying it a little past it and using that slope.
Yeah, it's good. It's on the correct portion of the screen. There are little sections of the green. And to give yourself a good birdie chance, you've got to be on the correct section. And she is. We've seen a few players have some very difficult putts today at 15.
At the 14th, playing with Lucy Lee is world number 2 Nelly Korda, her third at the par 5.
She draws a crowd.
Yeah. It's going to take her to 11 under with 4 holes to go. 4 back. 13.
This is Titigan on the tee. Five behind. And that should just release down to the green a little bit. It needs to pitch further right to get the big kick. 13 has been a tough hole all week. She's going to have to dial in the putter again as we go back over to 12.
And the third at the par 4 for Yeoju Kim.
Not an easy pitch, having to deal with some left to right slope on the fringe, and she was coming out of kind of a scrappy lie.
Now Patty's second at the 15th.
You know, again, with a wedge into the wind off an uphill lie, Patty changed clubs. You know, I think you got to figure out how to control the spin. It looked like she opted to take a little more club and use that slope. Great shot.
Yeah, she did very well. Yeah, that's executed. And so she's going to have a good chance for a birdie as well. And this is a nice week for Patty Tavatanakit, who's been working hard on her game. I think winning a major so quickly in her career threw her into the spotlight, and she was struggling to handle it.
Georgia Hall's third at 12. That was just a moment ago. Roning Yin, the leader by 2, right next to her. And now we're live with Roning. How about the stance here first and foremost, Kay?
The stance is not ideal. She's just able to get her feet into the sand, but her heels are much higher than her toes. The lie is good, though.
Wow. She continues to impress.
Yeah, she seems to have all the shots. And, you know, another thing you have to like about her game is she makes decisions fairly quickly, goes about her business.
You like that, don't you?
Well, I think all golfers like that.
Nelly, what do you think? 4 back, 4 to go? Including a par 5 16th. All right, the final group at the 12th. We've got par putts, beginning with Yeoju Kim. Led the tour in scrambling last year, which may be a testament to just how tough that third shot was.
Yeah, I love watching her play, and I love her attitude. You know, she's just a very nice person. She's really very laid back. She's probably a little bit of a throwback, Judy, in that she's not so technically minded. She hates to practice. She practices minimally, loves to play and compete. And so I think she really owns her game and plays truly with what she's brought to the course.
Yeah, well, I hope she owns that golf swing and never leases it out to anyone else, because it is beautiful. And if she doesn't like to practice, boy, how fortunate can you be to swing the club like that?
I'm not saying she doesn't practice at all, but she's not going, you know, for hours upon hours. It's more about quality versus quantity.
Yeah, we talk about those people, and I think we've labeled them for many a year ball beaters.
Yeah.
It's just they hit golf balls day in and day out, whether they've played well or whether they've played poorly, and it's just part of their routine.
Yeoju back to where she began the day. 12 under. Now Georgia Hall. And Kay, this is fascinating, this dynamic. You've got the 20-year-old playing with major champions, players who've won all over the world, and she has more than held her own. Ronan Yin.
I think Ronan's at the place where she acknowledges and appreciates every time she plays with someone new or a major champion, but she certainly doesn't seem intimidated by it at all. And Georgia,
any issues with the shadows here, Kay?
Oh, just a little bit, but players are used to it, and fortunately they're not moving around. It's not as if the wind is blowing the shadows, so everything's very steady.
So the pressure goes back to Ronan Yin. She'll have a par putt to stay in front by 2. Nice save from Georgia.
Feel like Saganda has to make this one, Angela.
I agree, Tom. This putt will have some pace. Her caddy pointed to the left side of the hole, moving left to right. I think it's just hard there because that putt is so fast that you're trying to make it, obviously, but you just don't want to get real aggressive.
There's never one in the US on a main tour.
There she is, the 20-year-old from Shanghai, China. She's made a couple of really nice putts, one for bogey at 10 and then one for par at 11, and this is another putt for par.
For her, it's all about trusting her line.
Incredible. The poise of a veteran. Asked if she'd be nervous playing in the final group, she said, not at all. And she looks it.
We saw Ty Titicaca miss the green on the right side. Knocked it down to here, so this for par. And a good save in the end. So she remains 10 under par, 5 behind. I would think she needs to start getting things going pretty quickly, especially at 14. This was Patty Tavatanakit for a birdie at the 15th.
She has a great look at it.
Yeah. Okay. Just pointing at somebody in the gallery. Or maybe a caddy. Maybe it was the the read from the caddy.
Yeah, it was a great read. I think it was she was looking right at the caddy.
Back-to-back birdies for Patty Tavatanakit. Great to see her with a smile on her face. Now we'll go down to the fairway at the 15th, and Nelly not wasting any time. She's ready to go. Asking for it to sit. Yeah, she knew it was too long. That's going to be tricky from back there. We'll go to the 13th. So we've seen a few poor iron shots from Georgia. Got to hit a good one here, Kay.
Yeah, she was kind of working on a little bit of her swing, walking down the last fairway, trying to sync things up a little bit better. This is such a incredible tee shot, hitting down at least 80 to 90 feet, depending on the tee they use. A really good rhythm to that shot with a very nice line.
Yeah, she corrected it.
She also was from a very level lie. I think all the ball above your feet, below your feet, mostly it seems, can throw you off.
Yeah, really the only level lies are the tee boxes, right?
That's right.
Trying to think of a hole where the ball would be below her feet. Maybe the second shot at 15 would be the only one coming home, depending on where she drove it at 14. Now back up to the tee and Ronan Yin.
Going with the 7-iron like Georgia Hall did. Really playing with all the adjustments for a 155-yard shot. Pushed this. Ooh, but enough to clear the... That's going to leave
Pretty
a
long
very,
putt.
yeah, demanding putt from back there, Tom.
Since she's come to the U.S. this season, she's had one round not in the 60s, and that was a round of 70. So I think she's managing her game pretty darn well.
Yeah.
Pull one of those today. Just rated George's ball, yeah. Just a little bit right of it.
Yeah, I'd say Georgia's ball would be a good target. And although Hyoju is not as long off the tee, she's pretty equal to her fellow competitors with iron play, going with a 7-iron as well. Now, that was a really nice rhythmic swing with a really good line. Oh, that's what she was looking for, Tom.
Yeah, trying to get it back under par for the day. So the experience of Hyoju Kim, don't count that out. 3 behind, but a good look at birdie.
Welcome back to Southern California. Palos Verdes Golf Club, Palos Verdes Estates, California, about 30 miles south of Hollywood. It's the final round of the DIO Implant LA Open. Grant Boone, Judy Rankin, Tom Abbott, Angela Stanford, Kay Cockrell, and the team as the 20-year-old from China, Roning Yin, who had a wild front nine with just 1 par, still has the 2-shot lead that she did when this round began. She's got a couple of major champions still giving chase. Nelly Korda, Patty Tafet-Tanneket make it 4 who've won majors within 4. To the 15th and Tom.
And Nelly Korda for a birdie. This is going to be flat till about there and then downhill. It's just needs to stop up, and a pretty good effort there from Nelly. And we'll go down to the 14th.
And now 5 shots back with 5 to play. Reigning Rookie of the Year, Ataya Titikun. Power, finesse, accuracy, Judy, she's got it all.
I think we're going to see her winning for some long time.
See the name of Minami Katsu there, with the 63. She's a huge WrestleMania fan, or wrestling fan.
Yes.
WWE, and they're in town tonight for WrestleMania here in LA. After she finished her round of 63, she was surprised by the WWE with free tickets for tonight at WrestleMania. So not only is she shot maybe the round of the day, but she's going to get to go and watch the WWE tonight, and she is absolutely over the moon, I'm told.
Big weekend.
Sounds like that's the spot to be if you're not at a golf tournament. Tom, will you be attending?
I haven't been invited, Kay. I'm told it's sold out tonight.
Maybe you'll be surprised when the
who
broadcast
knows?
is over.
Who knows? Now Roning in for birdie.
Yeah, you could say that's a birdie putt, but it's a nearly 60-footer from the very back of the screen. She's got to deal with a pretty good mount, probably at least 4 feet of right to left break. And it will speed up quite a bit as it rolls down closer to the hole. And really never got that high enough, but the speed was really well judged.
It's been quite the display for the 20-year-old in her second season on the LPGA Tour, especially on the greens. And that brings us to our better alignment presented by Versa from Odyssey. This was for birdie at the 8th. She had endured 3 straight bogeys, but Judy a birdie at the 6th, at the 7th, that one at the 8th. Also birdied 9, and this was huge. This was for bogey at 10.
That was huge, and She looks good doing it too. She's got a nice putting stroke. She stays very still.
When she went through a wrist injury in the middle of last year, she took some time off. All she could do was chip and putt, and she said that made her putting a little bit better. Looks great today. Better alignment presented by Versa from Odyssey.
Well, this is the first birdie putt that Georgia Hall has had since the 9th hole. She's done a fantastic job getting up and down out of the sand. This is downhill, right, a little right to left. Boy, it never turned much.
Over at the par 5 16th, the third shot for Patty Tavatanakit.
Patty had to lay up. She lost her tee shot way right, but she has just been wonderful with her wedges now on this backside. It was a great shot from 82 yards downwind.
That will be for a third straight birdie.
Hyo-Joo Kim, we're next to go here, I think, Kate.
She is, and looking for her third birdie of the day, her first on this back nine. Those 2 birdies came at 2 and 7, so it's been a while since she's made a birdie. And Tom, looking at this putt, I gotta feel like it has to pull down to the left, but how much depends on the speed with which she hits this?
I think this green's tough to read, Kay, because it kind of it tricks your mind with the way it sits against this hill.
Yeah, she played for that right to left break, and it just wasn't there.
I think she hit a beautiful putt, exactly what she was trying to do. Maybe it needed to have just a little bit less speed, but she did what she wanted to do.
Nelly Korda, that's the cleanup for par. No, no, no. She's missed a few short ones this week, and that's going to be a costly 3-putt at just the wrong time for Nelly Korda, highest ranked American in the world. Back down to the 13th green and rolling in for the par.
This would be quite the back nine Sunday 2-putt from great distance. Much easier par putt because she's underneath the hole.
This is a tricky hole. There's no doubt about it. A tough green to read. But she did give herself a lot of work to do from the back of that green.
Am I right, Tom, that we've seen a lot of 3-putts on this green this week?
Yeah, we've certainly seen some players struggle. Take a look at this one, Judy.
I don't really think she did anything wrong other than she hit it in such a confident way with, you know, a fair amount of speed that could have cost her. It could have been, if she hit a putt that maybe could fall in from all sides, might have been better, but sometimes you have to be the putter to know that.
An important putt here for Georgia Hall to remain 1 behind.
Yeah, it's kind of like Georgia has just been plodding along, making par after par. And it's put her in a good position.
Yeah.
The bogey from Yin drops her back to 14 under. The others catch a bit of a break.
Hyo-Joo Kim still has some work to do here. This is for the par.
Late in the day, Poana greens, nothing. There's no such thing as a gimme.
Yeah, tried to sneak away a little bit. You can hear the ooh from the gallery down there. This golf course is a walk, and I've got to hand it to people that have walked all the way down to the 13th. They may be regretting it by the time they get halfway up the hill back to the clubhouse.
All right, here's Carlota Saganda, third shot, par 5, 16th.
The shot is a lot harder than it looks. She had about 20 yards. She had to get it up on the green. And just, I think she expected it to roll out a little more.
Third shot at the 14th, the par 5 for Atthaya Thitikul. That'll be to get within 3. It is chilly. Temperatures in the mid-50s. The sun is helping, but that breeze coming off the Pacific. Judy, it's been quite the day as Roning Yen at age 20, trying to win for the first time, trying to become just the second player ever from China to win on the LPGA Tour, grouped with a couple of major champions, and now the lead is 1.
And they still have 2 par 5s to get into the house, this hole and 16.
Georgia to go first.
I think there's a real confidence on this tee, being that we have that valley effect. She took it more up the left-hand side, and you're just not going to get any forward bounce.
Desert golf last week, a very different look, faster fairways, pretty flat, and you come to this golf course, which is the complete opposite of desert golf.
Right, they're playing at more of like 1,900 feet altitude. Here you're just above the Pacific Ocean. Cool air, denser air.
And very soft fairways, lots of rain here in the last few weeks.
Carlota Saganda for birdie at the 16th.
You gotta believe she's gotta make this one.
And another one that she leaves short. Roning Yen on the tee at 14.
Well, you talk about the difference in driving distance. Ronan was top 10 in distance last week in Phoenix, averaging 289 yards. And her average this week is down significantly to 255, but she still moves it.
Again, cooler temperatures, the ball not going as far. She finished tied for 16th last week. All right, here's Patty Tavatanakit up ahead at 16 for birdie. 3 in a row, and another nod to Jason Hamilton, her veteran caddy. Could the UCLA Bruin stage a comeback for the ages as she tries to come back from a rough 2022?
Patty Tavatanakit on a run. She's had 3 birdies in a row. Let's see if she's aggressive here at 17. The flag is at the back of this green.
You don't want to be long here, Tom.
Okay, she's found the putting surface, Angela.
I think this is tricky because it's 159, it's playing downhill, but you just cannot miss it long.
Yeah, you're in big trouble if you go over that green.
Thitikul for birdie at 14. Running out of holes here for Atthaya.
Top Choice of Technology presented by Progressive Insurance for Carlota Saganda's tee shot here, Angela. And what do you make of the way that she's played this back nine? I mean, she had a chance today. There's no doubt about it with the way she played the first 10 holes.
Yeah, I believe she is extremely frustrated, and she kind of verbalized some of that as she missed that putt on 16. I think she is extremely frustrated that she did not take advantage of her length on the 2 par 5s back here, and now she has hit a shot left of this green into that bunker.
Yeah, left of that green is very dangerous. She was fortunate that caught the bunker, because if you miss the green left and it gets a kick, there's a penalty area there and it can run into the penalty area, but then at the end, to the bottom of the penalty area, which is on the side of the slope, is out of bounds. So you just cannot flirt with that, and that's why Angela was saying the back hole location is dangerous and you cannot go long.
The head cover comes off for Roning Yin at the 14th.
We're going to see if this youthful exuberance and strength can pay off. Her fellow competitors, Hyo-Joo Kim and Georgia Hall, have both laid up. Outside chance of getting this on the front of the green. 222 yards to the front of the green. And the wind has picked up a little bit, helping.
Very few players have accomplished that this week.
Oh, this peeling way right. I'm going to have to hope for a good kick. Oh, it ricocheted off the trees back into the fairway.
How about that?
That was lucky.
She got way out of position at 10, salvaged bogey. She may have caught a break at the 14th. She leads by 1. The final group is at the par 5 14th. It's a 1-shot lead for Roning Yin. Hyo-Joo Kim has already played her 3rd shot up onto the green, and now Yin.
Uphill lie with a wedge. This hole is back left. The back part of the green slopes back to front and right to left. And she played that pretty nicely.
-6 on the par 5s this week for Roning. She has not played one poorly. At least she has not bogeyed a par 5 this week.
Off the tree with her 2nd shot, back into the fairway, and now a chance at birdie. 17.
Bunker shot for Saganda. Played it pretty well there, Angela.
That's a very good bunker shot from where she was.
Georgia doesn't see how close Roning is. Here's her 3rd.
Oh, that was an uncharacteristic mistake by a very good wedge player. And she walked all the way up to the green to survey the situation, and that was unexpected.
Okay, would she know it's raced all the way over?
She might probably know it went to the edge of the green, but probably not that it went over.
What a scene as the 20-year-old 2nd-year player looking for her 1st win, walking alongside the major champions. Here's another major champ at 17.
And this is Patty Tavatanakit with a lengthy birdie putt here. Angela, what does she face?
Well, I think she can really make a good roll here. It's going to be slower. It's moving right to left. She had to get her caddy on the proper side of the flag. His shadow was in the way. That tells me she is trying to make this.
She might need to make it. She's giving it a good run, but doesn't have enough pace, I don't think. Not on that line, but anyway, it's going to be a 3 for Patty Tavatanakit.
While we have a moment, we want to invite you to get connected with the LPGA on social media. They're on Facebook. You can find them on Twitter at LPGA, on the gram at LPGA_tour, TikTok and Instagram. Or YouTube and TikTok, I should say. So China's Roning Yin leading it by 1. And Georgia Hall has a 4th shot at the par 5, and she'll be first to play.
Yeah, she's really got to just forget that miscue. She obviously should be on the green within 10 feet putting for birdie, but now forced to have to get up and down. Plenty of green to work with. A good lie from the rough.
Yeah, good shot.
But that will only be for a par. Yen will have a really good look at birdie in a moment.
This is a par putt now for Saganda at 17.
Tell you, Tom, when I got into these situations, I'm fuming by now because I understand full and well that I did not take advantage of things. And, you know, good for her for making that par putt. But, you know, she is extremely upset with herself with this back nine today.
Yeah, she had a chance. Go back to 2016, the last time she won on the LPGA Tour. That was down in Mexico. She has won 3 times on the Ladies European Tour in her native Spain since then. But Saganda is such a talented player, and only 2 victories in the LPGA. Hard to believe, really, with that talent.
Yeah, and she has what we call those Spanish hands, you know, where she can play some extraordinary shots from around the greens. We think everybody got something from Seve.
Hyo-Joo Kim for birdie.
Overall, a pretty level putt. This for her first birdie on the back nine.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't leave too many putts short like that.
She was battling through a stomach illness yesterday. Have you been able to tell Kay how she's doing today?
I think she feels better because she's not putting that hot hand warmer to her belly.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. So Roning Yin will have a birdie putt to push her lead back to 2.
What a gorgeous little wedge shot. And that's not an easy shot. We talked about how those off the uphill lies to an elevated green, you can only see the top of the flagstick, wind helping, and she calculated it just with with expertise.
Well, Judy, I've heard you say so many times, sometimes it is just your day. She's played brilliantly, but she also got a great break here at 14, and now for birdie. And she makes another. Now she's had some bogeys, as you'll see on the card, but look at that, 4 straight birdies after 3 bogeys in a row, and now the lead is back to 2, and 14 holes into her final round, she's still on top by 2.
Yeah, you know, 3 bogeys with somebody who is a little bit less experienced and can just kind of finish you. And the fact that she rebounded in the way she did and has is good to watch.
It's a little bit like what she did yesterday on the back 9K, rallying.
And that's something I think you're just kind of born with, right? Because she certainly is not old enough to have a ton of experience.
Well, it does tell you something when someone turns pro in her home country at 17 and wins her first 3 starts, as Roning Yin did on the China LPGA Tour. Nelly Korda for birdie at 16. Is she going to be happy with this week or frustrated that she let some get away, or both?
You know, it's going to, regardless of what she does now, it's going to be an okay week, a good week. I think what's cost her is I can remember seeing her miss 3 shortish putts. She's got to get that out of her game when the major season starts here. You can't miss 3-footers. It just doesn't pay off.
And that major season begins later this month. 15.
Roning Yin on the tee at the 15th.
Going with driver, 246 yards to that left bunker, but it's all uphill. And ideally, you'd like to end up on the left-hand side of this fairway for a better angle to that kind of right side location, hole location today.
Yeah, that's just fine.
Yeah, Roning has a pretty quick little tempo. She goes after the ball, tries to create all the speed she can. This golf swing's a little different in that you'll see that the tempo is different, but it's beautiful, much like Hyo-Joo's.
Georgia's got to be quite frustrated. She didn't take advantage of that par 5, and this heading towards the left rough.
It's going to make that second shot just a little bit more difficult, and we can't see the ball, so that would indicate that it's sitting down a bit in that thick rough. It's not going to be a long second shot for Georgia Hall, but a little harder now that she's missed the fairway. Hyo-Joo Kim back on the tee at 15.
And this is textbook.
It's just a lovely, simple swing.
And she has, I don't know what else to call it, but perfect balance. She never seems to lose her balance playing a shot.
Well, Roning Yin has been entertaining today. You've got to think about that second shot that ricocheted off the trees. It could have gone the other way and been in all sorts of trouble, but it came back into the fairway. She hit it to here and made the birdie putt, taking advantage of the good fortune. Back with Danielle Kang for a birdie at the 15th. Got off to a tough start today. It's 3 over for the round after 5 holes, but she's battled back very nicely, as you can see there. And Danielle Kang inside the top 7 at the moment at 10 under par. Was feeling a little under the weather earlier in the week, but looks better now. It's good to see.
Finishing up at the 18th, world number 3, Jin Young Ko. She's been battling through an illness the last week or two. Lydia Ko, who along with Jin Young played well here last year. Lydia tied for 34th, and Jin Young drops down into a tie for 25th. And a head shaker. Not her week, which is rare for Jin Young.
In the fairway at the 15th, Hyo-Joo Kim.
Taking a little bit extra time to be confident with this club selection, going with a 9-iron. Calculating this 112-yard shot, playing closer to 120 or even 122.
Doesn't like it, or is it just the sun? Needs to spin.
I think she pulled it a little, huh?
And it's gone into that higher tier there at the back. A little pocket at the back of the green will make the putt quick.
Yeah, she was probably in between clubs.
Yeah, there's more room. Even if you come down a little left, it's going to have a lease to the right.
Georgia.
Big miss into this thick rough that probably hasn't been mowed too much this week. Not a good lie. Gonna have to gouge it out with a wedge.
A little bit right of it, a little bit higher than that. I didn't see the end of it.
Finds the sand. Straight into the sun.
Yeah, I think she lost sight of that.
Yeah, she did. Now the leader, Yin.
And she's going with a wedge. 104 yards. Excuse me, 103 yards. Probably playing like 110. See if she can dial this one in nicely. Get some spin on it.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good. And Roning Yin has a chance to potentially extend her lead here. The final round of the DIO Implant LA Open. There's another bunker shot on the back nine here for Georgia Hall. And played it pretty well there, Kay.
Yeah, she is putting on a little sand clinic on this back nine.
Best round of the day on the course. Patty Tavatanik at -6, -12 for the tournament. Her second at 18.
My number for her is 147. She has got to carry it that far to get it on that top tier. Oh, I'd like to see her have a birdie try here, but just kicked left.
15.
I dare say this is going to be one of the most important weeks of Patty's career.
I agree.
You know, to prove to herself that her game is back, regardless of what happens there at the 18th. Hyo-Joo Kim, it's a lot about speed here, Kay.
It is, and I think that little bit of doubt with the second shot, being in between clubs, put her above this hole occasion, and it just leaves you in a spot where it's difficult. You have to guard against it zipping by the hole, although it does flatten out a little bit by the actual flagstick.
She hit it. Time kind of running out for Hyo-Joo Kim. Let's go to 18.
And it has struck midnight for Carlota Saganda, finishing up with her second.
She has a pitching wedge out of the rough. I hope she plans on trying to hit it lower and run it up there.
Well, she got away with it, but she's a good half a club short.
The defending champion, Nasa Hataoka, for birdie at this par 5. Very different golf course that she won on, Wilshire Country Club.
Yeah, we're in the neighborhood, but the look of the two golf courses and the way they play, very different. Two wonderful courses, though, for the LPGA.
Big moment here at 15.
Yeah, this is roning in for a birdie, which would put some daylight between herself and the chasers, Kay.
Such a well-controlled wedge shot in, and now can she convert? There's not much movement to this putt. See if she picks her line and executes.
See if she gets the speed right.
That looked like a pretty good stroke, maybe just a little misread.
I don't know. The putt just looked treacherously fast. She she barely stroked it.
Judy, it's kind of like these holes out here. They just don't attract the ball. They don't give you anything. You have to hit it dead center.
How about the bunker shot for Patty Tavatanakit at 18?
She has a beautiful line, the bunker. Touch of an upslope.
Just struck it a little bit too well.
Too good, Judy. That was too good.
Yep.
And so Patty Tavatanakit, who went to UCLA, and now over to Danielle Kang, who has lived in Southern California for much of her youth, and trying to chase it on this par 5. She
Yep.
can't tell yet.
It's a blind shot. There is water short and left of the green.
15.
Georgia Hall trying to record her 4th sand save of this back 9.
It's been incredible. I mean, obviously not ideal shots that have put her in the bunker, but she's just been beautiful out of the sand, and she's had every type of sand shot. This was very hard because she had to get it up fast and get some spin on it with not much green to work with out of a very deep bunker.
Yeah, and since you've seen such wonderful bunker shots, you will also notice there are a lot of bunkers on this golf course. And the bunkering is part of why it's such a test.
Well, Georgia has hung in there. Needs to maybe find a birdie or two, maybe even an eagle coming home.
Birdie putt for Saganda at 18.
Maybe.
Well, if this holds, it will be her 21st top 5 since her last victory 6.5 years ago.
You know, it gets in the player's head that they haven't won when they had such opportunity to win. And they also, you know, get it from the people in the press and the people that they talk to about, you know, how come, you know, you didn't win when you could have won, and It's a hard thing to overcome. She's not the first player that has fought the battle.
She's playing with one today who has been fighting it the last several months, Patty Tavatanik. As we take you back to the tee at the par 5 16th, Roning Yin began the day with a 2-shot lead, and I hear you so often say, you know, if you've got the lead, can you just keep ticking off holes? And the lead is still 2 as she has 3 to go here.
Yeah, in the Old West, it would have been a notch on your gun, maybe. But this is...
She went after that one hard, maybe a little further to the left than she would have liked, but settles down softly in the fairway.
How far do you have to be up that hill to make it a go, Kay?
Yeah, I think she could get there from that drive, but it's just such a blind shot. It's not comfortable at all.
And there is water left up there. Now Georgia stays 2 back. We're going to look at her tee shot with our Top Tracer technology presented by Progressive Insurance.
Georgia playing a nice little draw. And normally you would get maybe 10 yards of roll, but not getting that this week.
2 years ago this week, Patty Tavatanik was on top of the world of women's golf. A dominating victory at the Chevron Championship. And a par save for a 6-under par 65 as she tries to continue the comeback from a rough nearly year.
Yeah, good for Patty.
Hyo-Ju on the tee at 16. All 3 in the fairway in the final group. Roning Yin, a 2-shot lead with 3 to go. Final round of the DIO Implant LA Open. At the 16th, Danielle Kang has this putt for an eagle at the par 5.
So you're looking there at the width of the opening if you play a second shot to this green, and you can't see it. So you can see where the decision to go full bore with a 3-wood is one you have to take pretty seriously. Of course, the bailout would be the bunkers on the right.
Danielle Kang worked with Scotty Cameron to design a putter in the offseason, and already one of the very best putters in women's golf. She'll have that for birdie. Here's another pretty good one. Nelly Korda finishing up at the 18th. She had 3 top 6 finishes in her first 3 starts and in the top 5 at the moment. Back at the 16th, and Perrine Delacour. She was in good position coming into this final round, tied for 4th. She's dropped into a tie for 10th.
Yeah, even par for the day, which there's an awful lot of under par scores on the leaderboard.
Back in that 16th fairway, it's going to be a layup for Roning Yin.
This doesn't surprise me. I think there's so much trouble on the left that can come into play, and she doesn't need to go for this in 2. Now, Georgia Hall, that's a different story, and she may go for it. Hyo-Ju Kim is also laid up.
Curious to know if Roning knows where she stands in the tournament. She yesterday said she really didn't look at the boards, but that was Saturday. Now Lucy Lee at the 18th. Said she feels good to be back in California. She finished last of those who missed the cut last week in her debut as an LPGA Tour member, tied for 18th at the moment. Graduate of the Epson Tour. We've been watching her for so long, Judy, and now here she is on the tour as a member.
And still going to school at Penn. I love all that.
Analytics and psychology, the double major.
Yeah.
All right, as we watch Roning Yin making her way up the 16th. Kay, do you know if she knows?
There's a big gap.
I don't think she does. There haven't been that many boards out here, and I haven't noticed her looking at the boards. Of course, like you mentioned, she knows how she stands relative to her group.
And ultimately, that's all that matters at the moment, because no one is closer than Georgia Hall.
Yeah, usually by hook or crook, the caddies know somehow.
Would you want to know? 3 holes to go?
I think so. Yeah, I would. I'm not one of those. I think it takes enormous effort not to look at the leaderboard. I do think when you have a lead like this, you don't need to back off, but if you have to make a choice, you have to make a smart choice.
It would be her first win in her 20th start on the LPGA Tour. Second player after Shan Zhenfeng to win from the People's Republic of China. And along with Lilia Vu, the UCLA alum and the Southern California native, she'd be the second first-time winner this year. She has not played perfectly, but she hasn't blinked. Now Nelly for her par. At this point last year, she was in the middle of a layoff. Wasn't sure when she'd come back. After the blood clot. All right, so here is a scoreboard. And Roning Yin can take a peek if she so chooses. In those 3 victories to start her professional career in China on the CLPGA, all 3 of them were close, including one in a playoff. And she slept on a lead a couple of times, as she did last night. All right, Georgia Hall waiting.
Probably a decision she came to with her caddy, Colin Can. He's an Englishman and one of the most experienced caddies on this tour.
And being that she's 2 back, she likes to play aggressively. She's had success on the par 5s out here this week. She has 212 yards to the front of the green. That cool wind has started to freshen up a little stronger. It had laid down for a bit, so it will be helping. Completely blind shot. She obviously can't go left. If she ends up in the right bunker, it's okay, and this is going to the right.
That's the trophy they're playing for. And it would be a first on the LPGA Tour for Roning Yin. Georgia Hall is up there green high, and Roning is going to have this short third. And it was some brilliant par 5 pitch shots yesterday from Roning that helped her get that 2-shot lead.
Yeah, one at this hole that totally impressed.
The one yesterday here was a thing of beauty. It was 46-yard shot, that little touch and feel zone. It was, the hole was tucked in behind the bunker. Today, 52 yards.
Ask and you shall receive, Kay. Here it is. Visually a little weird, right? You couldn't see the bottom of the hole. Apparently not. Her lead is 2, and here's her third.
Yeah, just caught a little bit more ball than she would have liked, but it sure was right on line.
She'll have a putt for birdie. Georgia Hall will have a third shot in a moment. Big opportunity for Georgia Hall here at 16, her third shot at the par 5.
Difficult shot off a tight downhill lie.
Pretty darn good.
Roning Yin will putt for birdie first, and then Hall will have that attempt for birdie. Hyo-Joo Kim is going to have on the order of 30 feet for her birdie. Barring something catastrophic, it's down to these 3. Good crowds here all week in Southern California, about 30 miles south of downtown.
Grant, I feel like the crowd has been equally supportive of everyone in this group. And it was funny, I was talking to a woman who works for a Korean newspaper, and she's following and doing a story on Hyo-Joo. And Hyo-Joo in Korea is extremely popular. Probably the 2 most popular Korean players are In-ji Chun and Hyo-Joo, Shi-hyun. But Hyo-Joo is very, very popular. And like a lot of the Koreans, they have their own fan club. And her fan club is called Shooting Star. The fan clubs make the name, and they gave her that name because she is a lot of fun to watch, and she's bright like a shooting star. Avid, avid fans in Korea.
Well, she's running out of holes to get herself back into the conversation to win.
Yeah, she just normally would knock back a few birdie putts, but just has run dry on this back 9. And she hasn't played the back 9 well all week.
Sponsored by Lotte, she'll be the defending champ at the Lotte Championship, presented by Hawakale, in a couple of weeks' time. So the top 2 players, each with birdie putts. Roning Yin is going to go first, and you see Georgia Hall waiting.
I think Roning got a pretty good sense of the overall speed of this putt and what it does at the end from Hyo-Joo's putt. We've seen her make putts of all different lengths.
And for all different kinds of scores, including a clutch putt for bogey back at 10. It looked like she might lose the lead. This to put the pressure on Georgia big time.
Yeah, did not even get it started on the right line, so the worst putt we've seen from her for some time.
And it happens, doesn't it, Judy?
It does.
And who knows if she didn't take a peek at that board.
It'd be pretty hard to avoid that board.
And now you've got the veteran who just 7 days ago was in the intensity of a playoff, lost to Celine Boutier, and now she's got a putt to get within 1 with 2 to play.
And even though she said she was obviously disappointed with that loss, she tipped her hat to Celine Boutier, who's a good friend and fellow Solheim Cup partner, but said, on to LA, here I come.
She's tough. She's a major champion. And she is within one. Running in with a little bit of work left for par. First, we're going to 17.
And Danielle Kang for a late birdie run here. This will be for 3 in a row. So that'll be a 3 for Danielle. She's in a tie for 5th. Let's go back over to 16.
Hyo-Joo Kim for par. Wow. No one 3-putted less than Hyo-Joo Kim last year on the LPGA Tour. She was #1 in 3-putt avoidance. You go back to the 10th hole. Technically, it was a 2-putt, but it was 3 strokes with the putter. And then that all but knocks her out of contention.
I'm not sure that that's exactly what Ronin wanted to see. You have to have a short memory, Judy, in this game and erase any negativity that you might incur yourself or see, and just really focus on what you want to do with this putt.
To stay up by 1. Solid. But the 2-shot lead is down to 1 as they make their way to the par 3 17th. Time now for our shot of the day, presented by SHI. Go back to the 9th hole, and a rookie from Korea hit on you. Uh-huh. Yeah, she contended last week in Phoenix, and a nice memory here at Palos Verdes. Our shot of the day presented by SHI. Beautiful setting as the final group makes their way to 17.
A par 3 that's playing the most difficult that it's played so far this week, with the hole cut at the back of the green.
Tom, this is a deceiving little par 3 because it looks like it's a short iron in your hand. You ought to be able to score so easily on this hole, but instead you walk away thankful you made a 3.
Max, you want to come here with shorts in 3 behind. It's supposed to be a little bit this way from 9:30. I don't feel like that all day.
It's true. It's
What? 9:30. That's all.
9?
But very little bit.
44, up 49.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Straight out, yeah?
Yes, yes, like that. Yes.
It's almost like we're playing through a series of microclimates both throughout the day as the wind changes and the parts of the golf course that you're on. But right now the wind has completely laid down. There's only 3 or 4 paces behind this hole. George is playing a 145-yard shot with a 9-iron.
Let's see how aggressive she is here, Kate. She's 1 behind. I think in her mind she knows she needs to make a birdie at 17 or 18.
Oh, this is drifting right. Is it enough to clear the bunkers? No. She ends up in the strip of grass between the 2 bunkers. That was a whiff.
Was that one of the swings that we saw earlier in the back 9 with the shot that was away to the right, or do you think maybe it was a bit of the breeze? She is looking very confused at why that's come up short. It makes the task a bit more difficult. And now Ronin Yin needs a safe one here, Kate.
I think after seeing that, Roning's gone with one club more, going with an 8-iron.
We've seen this week this tee is protected. Players haven't been able to feel the breeze.
The middle of the green would be a good spot.
This is aggressive. Oh, even that comes up a little short.
Wow. Georgia has missed a few greens on this back nine, managed to get up and down. Roning Yin has a one-shot lead in the birdie putt to come. Well, that's where Georgia Hall's ball finished, between those two bunkers. And she has managed to get it up and down 4 times from the bunker on the back nine. Kay, do you think she'd rather be in the sand, or is this one lying all right?
Given her brilliant sand game, I'd say I'd rather be in the bunker if I were Georgia Hall, because this lie is not perfect. She had to sort of bend down and look at it. It's sitting in kind of like a tuft of grass. So that makes it very questionable how it's going to hit, how it's going to come out.
Well, this is the time where she can't afford to make a mistake, Judy.
Yeah, does it look like she could catch a little of that tuft before the ball?
Yes. That
But she
sounded
didn't.
clean, though. Really clean.
Excellent.
She's the short game queen today, I'd say.
Yeah, certainly from what we've seen on this back nine, it's been very impressive. It might be a little frustrating for Georgia that she hasn't been able to, you know, have as many birdie putts as she would have liked to challenge Roning Yin. But at the end of the day, if she's right there come the 72nd hole, she knows that's what she needs to do. And when you've lost in a playoff the previous week, to come back on a golf course that's completely different. We were in desert golf last week. To come back and keep the energy up and the concentration, and to travel your game to this sort of venue, impressive. Roning Yin is going to ask Georgia to move her mark, I think, Kay.
Yes, because this is an uphill putt. There's a higher part of the green to the left of the flag, and that's going to influence the putt a little bit from left to right. So she wants to ensure that mark is out of the way. Tom, I think even though the wind really wasn't hurting, there was a smidge of it up there, and I just think by this time of day at 5:30, the temperatures start dropping and the ball just doesn't carry very far, and it almost falls out of the sky.
Yeah, you know, talking about temperature in the mid to low 50s, cool breeze off the Pacific. Ball's not going to go that far. This for a 2-shot lead.
Uphill the whole way.
And ran out of steam.
I don't think she had in mind giving Georgia the line, but she will.
At this point, you don't want to keep leaving yourself these 3+ footers.
Roning Yin has talked about not really being nervous once things are underway. I'd wonder if that's the case now when she's right in the cauldron with a chance to win, whether there are any nerves. You would think there must be.
I think it's a pleasant type of nerves, though. It's the nerves you work hard to feel. The nerves you hate are the ones when you don't have confidence and you're struggling with your game and you're trying to make the cut. The nerves you have when you're trying to win a tournament are wonderful.
Surprised by what you've seen on the back nine today from Hyo-Joo Kim, Kay?
I am. Get in there. A little too late, Tom, but there's the brilliant shooting star.
Yeah, that'll delight the fans who follow her all around the globe. But just not quite her best on the back nine come Sunday afternoon here in Palos Verdes. Level par for the day, Hyo-Joo Kim. And now a huge putt for the leader by 1, Roning Yin.
Judy, these are the kind of putts you have to relish, and you got to just practice so many times that they're second nature. That little slightly downhill sliding putt. These
That
kind of
little-
putts can drive people to the psych ward.
I think she's too young for that. But, you know, Kay makes the point that that little slider that might actually go to the right is one of the hardest putts you can have. And it really requires a good, solid strike and getting the ball started on line.
Yeah, solid.
Wow.
Kind of like that.
Yeah. And now Georgia's got to follow her in. Look at that front nine.
Big smile from the caddy on that one.
Mm-hmm. Phil Kroll, yeah.
Big payday for him, potentially. Now Georgia, having just seen the line, did she move her marker one way and had to move it to the other way and then back to where it was originally?
It's
that what
always
it looked
hard
like?
to.
Yeah.
It's always hard to remember what.
We did see her move it back, though, correct, Kay?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, well done. Last week she shot 65 in the final round, finished about an hour before the last group. Had to head over to the range to wait it out. This week she's right there in the mix, but heads to the 72nd tee, one back, all to play for here.
Hyo-Joo Kim is going to have the honor after the birdie. And that clutch par save from Roning Yin really takes away Hyo-Joo Kim's best chance. She would have hoped for a bogey birdie flip from both Hall and Yin had Yin missed, but now it's a three-shot advantage for Roning and Hyo-Joo Kim with the tee.
The higher and more carry you have on this uphill tee shot, the better. Otherwise, the ball just kind of hits and dies into the hill. When she got it to the crest and was able to actually get a little hit and release.
Georgia next.
With Georgia's talent, her physical talent, and what I've seen today, with her mental outlook, I just feel like if she can keep this going and keep her body in shape, she could have a really big year. I'm talking multiple wins in another major.
And that mental approach that she has might be described as mental toughness.
She won on home soil at Lytham with everyone in England cheering for her. It was a loaded leaderboard with major champs, and she got it done. And now can Roning Yin get it done? She just had a good couple of visuals there with two in the fairway. She leads by one. 10 of 13 finding fairways today, Kay.
Yeah, her driving has been good, and when she's missed the fairway, it's not been by much. Yeah, pulled it a little, but the fairway opens up a bit on the left-hand side, and that will be just fine.
Just 20 years old in her second season of the LPGA Tour, Roning Yin leads by one. It is a one-shot lead for young Roning Yin in her 20th start on the LPGA Tour. She's in the fairway at the par 4 18th. Georgia Hall is as well, stepping off her yardage. And Hyo-Joo Kim,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I believe, is going to be first to go. green is clearing. Tightening up that glove. Hoping the nerves don't tighten. She's handled it all day. Roning Yin. 2-shot lead when the round began. Fell behind with 3 straight bogeys. Came roaring back with 4 birdies in a row. And the lead is now 1.
I mean, yeah. I think 7. It's, if we want to get it back there, I think unless you get 8, unless you move 8 back a little bit. Into that corner.
Well, about 7.
I mean, it, hitting that one, yeah, it's probably, even if we hit like a 35.
As I say, you know, if we like 7.
I like trying to get it out there.
7.
With that?
I think the 7 is what she was wanting to hit all along, and Les agrees. 143 covers the sand if she goes on the line of the flagstick.
You're in the hole.
And it plays 6 yards uphill.
Well, a birdie would be a moneymaker. It would break her out of a tie for 3rd.
Right at him.
And Roning Yin is next.
A couple paces ahead from the very left-hand side of this fairway, not the ideal angle. Again, 141 to cover the sand. She may try to play this out a little bit to the right of the flag. Wind is blowing right to left. Boy, launched that really high. She has so much more height on her irons than Hyoju.
Boy, and you know, Kay, you can talk about how valuable that is.
Oh, just you can go at flag sticks and you know that ball's going to come down and land softly.
Now, Georgia can't tell how close that is, right, Kay?
No, the front bunker obscures the surface of the green. She can only see the top half of the flag, 9-iron in hand.
You think it's going to reach, Carl?
Yeah, he's fine to it. A little pumped up. Wind's just across. 40 shot, yeah. Circumstances just perfect. And then just a hair right of it.
I can understand her hesitation as she thought she struck one beautifully on the last hole and came up short. Gotta trust this 9-iron.
Yeah, if you couldn't hear Colin, he said you're a little pumped up.
Oh, she went after that one. Nice line.
Oh, nearly perfect. What a shot from Georgia Hall. She was pumped up.
What a call by the caddy.
Colin Can, he's seen a little bit of everything. 30 years as a caddy. Might see a playoff here in a minute. After finishing her 3rd round yesterday to take a 2-shot lead into this championship Sunday, Roning Yin said she didn't think she'd be nervous, but she did say a win today would be huge for golf in China. Trying to become the 2nd from her country to win on the LPGA Tour. Georgia Hall has a close putt for birdie, but this for a walk-off win. Wow.
It started breaking really hard, about 6 or 8 inches short of the hole. I mean, really hard. And it put that little spin on it that caught the edge.
Judy, this didn't go in, but this was
What a great
not a
putt.
nervy looking stroke, was it?
Not at all. I mean, really good, solid, quiet hands. And right there, it starts breaking so hard.
The door is open for Georgia Hall, and Roning Yin will watch to see if Georgia is going to play off for an LPGA title for a second consecutive Sunday. First, Hyo-Joo Kim for birdie.
And this for a very nice birdie finish after a tough stretch on this back nine.
You see the mark of Roning Yin. What is that? Less than 2 feet away, right about 2 feet for par.
Yes, not a gimme. One she has to put her full attention to.
Georgia's had some big putts in the last 7 days. Had a great 2-putt for birdie in regulation at 18 last week. Wound up getting her into a playoff. Missed a birdie putt on the first extra hole. Celine Boutier made to win it. But now this putt for Georgia Hall to force a playoff.
Being very precise. This is how she does like a form of a plumb bob, getting that line on the ball exactly where she wants it.
Wow. Roning Yin is not in yet.
Boy, the pull there to the left, just right at the hole, must really be strong.
She has stood over some enormously important putts in her young career.
She's made every one of these she needed to make on the back nine. She started, I tell you, she started that putt a little left, which I think she needed to start the putt inside the right.
Now this for par. Yin will wait. Hyo-Joo Kim finishes up. It's just a couple of feet left for Roning Yin.
You have to see a player's face on the 18th green to really know how invested they are, how hard they work, and how many years from childhood on, for most of them, they've put into being on this stage.
It's a putt you might just scoop away if you're just playing with friends. Just a couple of feet, if that, maybe a foot and a half. In the shadow of Hollywood, a star may have just been born. China's Roning Yin, at age 20, is an LPGA champion. She wins the DIO Implant LA Open, fending off a pair of major champions.
Somebody behind the green was cheering before it actually fell.
I get to take this thing off.
She joins Shan Feng as the only LPGA winners from China. There's Reixin Liu, also from China. I believe that's Shi Yulin. What a moment. Roning Yin began the day with a 2-shot lead, fell behind on the front 9, but she got it done when she had to do it. Some clutch putts on this championship Sunday, and our newest LPGA winner is with Kay Cockrell.
It's always a thrilling moment to watch somebody win for the first time. You get it done in just your 20th start. I see these tears. Is that tears of joy, relief? What is the emotion right now?
I mean, I fought so hard today, and I just made a 3 bogey in a row in the front 9, and I'm so happy that I fought back. From hole 6 to 9, it was great for birdie out there, and yeah.
Well, it was so crazy. You only made 1 par, those 3 bogeys in a row, then 4 birdies in a row. Where does that fight come from?
I mean, like I said yesterday, I can make birdie at this course for sure, and I just tell myself, gotta be patient. Yeah.
You were patient, and your putter was beautiful. Shan Fen is someone you look up to, and you now become the first winner from Republic of China to win. In addition to Shan, what does that mean to you?
That means a lot, not just for me, also for China, I think. And the Shan is always my goal here, and I think she got 10 tour win here, and yeah, it's just my first one, so she's definitely the person I look up to.
Well, very well may be first of many. Congratulations on a brilliant win and beautiful golf this whole week.
Thank you.
Grant.
Roning Yin moves to number 6 in the race to the CME Globe. Wasn't easy, but Judy, she got it done when she had to do it.
And that's so much of what competitive golf is about. You don't always play your best. Sometimes you run away with it. Sometimes it comes right down to that very last putt.
Yeah, her countrywomen celebrating with her. Shi Yulin is the highest-ranked player in the world without a victory. She watches Roning Yin get it done. And Georgia Hall so close for a 2nd consecutive week. You pour so much into a tournament.
You do. You do. I do love the way George is playing. She's she'll be there again, and maybe right away. Who knows?
Boy, who knows what's in store for young Roning Yin, but today she is a winner, and she did it against 2 proven champions to win it by 1. Golf Central comes your way next. Wrapping up a busy weekend in the world of golf and getting you ready for the Masters, and then next week, April 12th from Oahu, the Lotte Championship, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Golf Channel. Thanks to Jesse Wesp, our producer, director Pete Esposito, and our entire team. For Judy Rankin, for Tom Abbott, Kay Cockrell, and Angela Stanford, I'm Grant Boone. She was unbreakable. China's Roning Yin hangs on and joins Shan Feng as the only winner from China in LPGA history.